Welcome value hands to ETF Investing Australia, the weekly overview show. We're looking at the week ending Friday the 13th of September. Spooky stuff. As always, we're looking at the exchange traded funds on the ASX. So last week we saw a cooling in the trade attentions between the US and China. We saw some pretty good economic data out of the US, some more stimulus from the ECB. So there was a bit of change in sentiment for last week. Hang around. This is where you're going to get the information to give you the ETF edge.
Hello my little value hounds, this is Scott. I'm the guy that wants to crack your financial sky. I've been listening, I've been watching, and I know that there's a great majority of you guys out there that are scared to invest. Mainly because you think you're going to lose all your goddamn money. What I'm trying to do here is show you guys that it's not as hard as it looks. I want to give you guys some more information and give you the courage to take those steps to create your own destiny effectively. So I hope that I can help you guys take that leap and start building your financial freedom and your financial future. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing and you think I'm adding some value to your life with these little videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Have a great day and let's invest and crack your sky.
Okay, let's cast our eye over the ASX. Top performers. Top ETFs by 1 week total return. We saw in the number one position here, Vanguard Global Value Equities, active ETF, VVLU up 5.8%. That's a new one for me. Haven't seen that one too often. BShares Global Banks ETF, that one's hedged. BNKS is the code, up 5.7%, followed closely there by the BShares Global Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF. Code is RBTZ. If I can get my tongue untied, we saw a 4.9% rise. Followed closely here by BShares Wisdom Tree Japan ETF, hedged. HJPN's the code, up 4.8%. Number 5 position, we've seen iShares Core S&P Small Cap ETF. The code is IJR, up 4.6%. Okay, flipping across over to the top ETFs by 12-month total return. Number 1 position features heavily in these lists is the BetaShares Geared Australian Equity Fund. The code is GEAR, up 53.5% for the year. Number 2 position, we've got the BetaShares Geared US Equity Fund, currency hedged. The code is GGUS, up 47.5%. Third position here, we're looking at the VanEck Vectors China New Economy ETF. The code is CNEW, up 36.2%. Followed up closely here by the VanEck Vectors China AMC A-Shares ETF, the sister ETF. Code is CETF. We're looking at a rise here. 12-month return of 33.5%. Rounding out our top 5, we are looking at the BetaShares Global Gold Mines ETF hedge MNRS, 31.6% total returns. Quite a good return there if you're invested in those top 5. Jumping into the ASX top ETF money flows. Top ETFs by 1 week flows, we're looking at in number 1 position here, the BShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF, AAA is the code. We saw 1 week inflows of $61.2 million. Second position here is quite a popular ETF as well. We're looking at State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 fund. The code is STW, 51.4. million inflows. Third position, iShares S&P ASX 200 ETF. IOZ is a code. That's another popular one for looking at the ASX 200. $41.4 million. So $41.1 million. Now, in the fourth position here, we're looking at the ETFs. Physical gold product. The code is GOLD. We looked at $20.7 million of inflows last week. BetaShares Active Australia Hybrid Fund HBRD in the fifth position here with $10.9 million of inflows for the week. Hopping over now, looking at the top ETFs by year-to-date flows. BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF AAA. We saw inflows of year-to-date of $545.3 million. Quite substantial. That one's quite popular, as the inflows are telling us. Vanguard Australia Shares Index ETF VAS in the second position here with $416.8 million of inflows year to date. Vanguard Australia Fixed Interest Index. VAF's the code. We've seen $346.6 million of inflows year to date. Fourth position, Vanguard MSCI Index International Series VGS. We're looking at inflows year to date of $306.7 million. Fifth position, we're looking at the BetaShares Active Australian Hybrid Fund HBRD is the code. $287.3 million of inflows. Hopping along now to take a closer look at the ASX ETF trading volumes. The top ETFs by 1 week average daily turnover. We're looking at the BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF AAA. This is quite a popular one. It pops up a lot. $29.2 million or 1 week average daily turnover. iShares Core S&P 500 IVV is a code. Probably one of the most popular S&P 500 funds traded on the ASX. We're looking at $27.9 million of for the 1 week average daily turnover. iShares S&P 500 AU hedged IHVV, so that's pretty much its brother. It's just the hedged version of IVV. $23.3 million for the average 1 week daily turnover. State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 Fund STW is a code. $14.4 million for the 1 week average daily turnover. Fifth position here, we're looking at iShares Treasury ETF IGB with a 1 week average daily turnover of $13.1 million. Hopping along now to take a look at the top ETFs by year to date average daily turnover. We're looking at the BetaShares High Interest Cash ETF AAA, $14.8 million year-to-date average daily turnover. Quite a popular little ETF, that one. People use that as a proxy to a bank account. Second position here, we're looking at the State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 Fund. STW is a code, $14.4 million. A year-to-date average daily turnover for that one. Vanguard Australia Share Index ETF VAS, we're looking at a year-to-date average turnover of $11.4 million. A little ways back there, we're looking at the iShares Core S&P 500 with code IVV. Year-to-date average daily turnover of $7.5 million. BetaShares Australia 200 ETF, A200 is a code. This is a good little ETF. $6.6 million a year-to-date average daily turnover. So, you know, those ones on the right-hand side there will give you a good idea of pretty much what the main flavour of the trading on the ASX for the ETFs are. So they're the top 10 popular ones if you look down that list. Okay, let's have a quick look at the weekly highlights. Financial sector funds like banks and BMV, and the high conviction growth funds such as Robots, Robo, and ACDC all perform strongly. Asia focused funds, HJPN and IKA, were also amongst the top performers. The week's best performing ETFs were Vanguard Global Value Active ETF, VVLU. So we had a quick look at that previously anyway. That one, as we touched on, had a return of 5.8%, quite impressive for the ETF. So as we mentioned, with the trade talks and that type of stuff going supposedly better now, gold fell for the second consecutive week. So gold and PM gold all down, and you're looking at the gold miners GDX and MNRS. They're also weaker and amongst the poorest performers. The poor old gold stocks are getting hammered, and also the other metals didn't. ETFs covering the other metals didn't go that well either. Total flows into domestically domiciled ETFs, so ETFs in Australia, were $308 million, while your outflows totaled $134 million, so more money coming in than going out. The biggest inflows, as we sort of touched on before, into cash, so AAA, domestic equities like STW and IOZ. And for gold, GOLD, outflows were from US equities such as IVV, Australian government bonds, IGB. As we were looking at before in the previous slide, AAA was the most traded fund last week. So a combination of the volume of IVV and HVV made S&P 500 the most traded index. The most traded index exposure for the week, I should say. Gold continues to trade above average volumes, and all on the downside, people getting the hell out of gold.
Yeah, so this is our standard disclaimer. We're not promoting any particular product here. Purely informational purposes to give you guys an overview on the market and what's happening. We always need to do our own research, so you don't want to be buying one product just because you've only looked at one product, and also, you need to take your own personal financial objectives into account, and where needed, get additional advice from a professional. Hey, thanks for taking the time and sticking around to the end of the video. I enjoy producing these videos for you guys. I actually learn a lot of information myself. It keeps me up to date with what's happening in the market. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, also jingle the bell. That'll let you know when the next video is coming. Greatly appreciate your time once again. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Ciao.